Hello, this is Debbie Kay with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are watching the Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We are here today to talk with candidates running in the May 19, 2026 primary election. The League of Women Voters is grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the Weiss Foundation, the Sarah Fruing Fund, members of the League of Women Voters of Portland, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me today is Brad Gerke, running for Multnomah County Circuit Court Judge, District 4, Position 14. Welcome, Mr. Gerke.
Thank you for having me today.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are running for this office.
Thank you. My name is Brad Gerke. It goes by Bradford on the ballot. That's the name my mom gave me because she thought I was going to grow up to be an attorney, and I did that. I went to school actually to be a teacher, then went the other direction after I graduated and became an attorney. But I've been doing family law for about 17 years. Because my focus has been family law for so long, I had sort of given up on any dreams of becoming a judge, but this spot's uniquely qualified for me because it's a family law judge spot where the judge who is elected to this spot will only do family law. It's what I've been doing for over 17 years now. I'm really experienced in this area of law, and I feel like this is a good way for me to bring my creativity to the bench, and that may sound odd to talk about creativity for a bench, but in my experience, in family law, families need creative, sometimes outside the box thinking in ways to resolve their issues. Oftentimes people come in, if they're in front of a judge, they've become so enamored with their position, so tied to their position that they can't see any kind of other ground besides what they want. And I think I can help this community by being that creative judge that can help tailor solutions to the families.
Thank you. As you said, Position 14 has been designated as a courtroom to handle family law docket as opposed to general civil and criminal cases. Please describe what the most significant considerations would be for you as a judge in custody cases.
Well, custody cases, the legislature has already laid out for us what we should be doing, and we should be trying to figure out what is in the best interest of the children. And that's oftentimes going to be determining who the primary parent is, who's got the emotional connections with the child, what other family members that are out there. And so asking a family law judge or a family law attorney what the primary consideration is going to be, the answer is always going to be best interest of the child, and that's funneled largely through who the primary parent is. That's not to discount the other parents. Oftentimes there are co-parents, and so when you have a true co-parenting situation, I think you have to look at other factors, how people dedicated their lives to the children, how would the award of custody to one parent or the other, or parenting time, impact the children. So I think there's a lot to consider, but really it's putting children forward, and that's how I would focus my rulings from the bench.
Thank you. What would be the most significant considerations for you as a judge in dealing with self-represented litigants?
I think this is an area where judges can make a big difference, and I've seen a wide variety of ways judges interact with the unrepresented litigants. 80% or more of the litigants in Multnomah County are, in family law cases, are unrepresented. So that's going to be a vast majority. And I think a lot of times people come in without a clear understanding of what the judge is looking for. And I think having a clear statement at the beginning telling the court or telling the parties what kind of information that I'm looking for, what is going to be helpful and not helpful evidence, would be very helpful to help people feel that their concerns have been heard and feel like they've had a fair opportunity to present information to the court. And so, I think that's really what it comes down to, is having both parents or both parties, and sometimes it's not even parents because you have grandparents involved, but have all parties feel like their concerns were heard and everything was considered.
Thank you. You're listening to the Video Voters Guide interview and podcast with Brad Gerke, running for Multnomah County Circuit Court Judge, District 4, Position 14. Mr. Gerke, what would be the most significant considerations for you as a judge in dealing with child witnesses?
I am an attorney that actually represents children. I volunteer. Multnomah County has a child representation project, and I volunteer to help with this so that children aren't forced to testify. In my role as a judge would be very different than my role as an attorney. I know some judges have said that having a child testify is tantamount to being abuse, and I've had other family law judges treat it as I need to hear it. They have oftentimes the most important information. I think it's important for a court not to foreclose itself to hearing children, and there are often times where children want to be heard. But when you do that, I think the paramount thing there is to make the children feel safe and make the children feel comfortable, and to the extent possible, make it so they feel like their parents aren't going to punish them for what they say. There are ways we can do that as judges. We can empty the courtroom, have the child testify without the parents there. I also already mentioned that we can do an attorney for the child. And I think appointing an attorney for the child can be an effective route to avoid the need for having the child testify, but still having their needs met and having them feel like their concerns were heard, because they're the ones that have to live with the results and the decisions that a judge makes.
Thank you. Briefly, what would be the most significant considerations for you as a judge in deciding issues of alimony and support?
I think for me, it's going to be a totality, but you have to figure out what's going to work for the family. How can we get both parents or both parties on their feet into a position where they can thrive and not be homeless, not be put out? You have to make sure that we can protect everybody, give people time to find the education that they need, get into the employment that they need, and not rush things through, but also not create a situation where a party feels like they now, in a short-term marriage, have to take care of somebody who detests them for a long time. But we have to balance everything out. And part of that balancing is going to be looking back to how did the parties conduct themselves during marriage? Did one of the parents or one of the parties not work so they could take care of the household and the children? These are things we have to look at to make a fair and equitable decision that's going to make it so both parties are in a position to succeed as best they can.
Thank you. This concludes our video voters guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland. Brad Gerke is running for Multnomah County Circuit Court Judge, District 4, Position 14. Election Day is Tuesday, May 19th. To find additional election resources, including online identification of other candidates and ballot measures on which you may be able to vote, please visit the League of Women Voters of Portland's website, lwvpdx.org. Please also visit vote411.org and then exercise your right to vote. Ballots will be mailed out starting April 30. For your vote to be eligible to be counted, your ballot must be received by Multnomah County Elections Division or in one of the designated ballot drop boxes in Multnomah County no later than 8 o'clock on Election Day, May 19th. We strongly recommend that if you're depositing your ballot with the United States Postal Service, you do so no later than Tuesday, May 12th, a week before Election Day. Your voice and your vote matter. Thank you for your attention.